Okay, hi, I'm Elisha Lewis, and I am from Car Creek Elementary. And as you can see, the title of my project is Out with the Old and In with the 21st Century. So my grant wasn't focused on just one concept, but several. Go ahead. The research that we did was no student in the history of education is like today's modern learner. As you know, that we can't just go into a classroom anymore, put a textbook down like when we were in school and say, okay, turn to pages 5 through 29, do questions 1 through 40, and you're done for the day. That doesn't happen with our kids. We have to be an entertainer. We have to be engaged with them. We have to do everything to keep their attention. So, you can go ahead. Research says, and I didn't really know this until I started looking, but only 5% of the things that you teach within a school day are retained if you stand up and give a lecture to a student. That's all they remember. What you said is 5%. However, if you do something like project-based learning, if they practice by doing, their retention is a lot better if you're actually engaging them in something and giving them something hands-on to do. Go ahead. Okay, this is another part of my project, which is as you can see, where we are in Eastern Kentucky is Maine in the red. Okay, chronic absenteeism, as you know, is a big problem in Eastern Kentucky. We have kids who are on truancy. Oftentimes, we have the same students who are absent, and it's a lot of the times it's not that child's fault. You know, you've got a 5, 6, 7-year-old student. Well, why did you miss yesterday? Well, Mom's alarm clock didn't go off, so I didn't make it to school. I missed the bus. Not that child's fault. And then they come in, parents will know, okay, what did my kid miss today? Well, they missed everything. They missed, you know, this I can in reading or writing or spelling, okay? And it's hard to catch students up even just one day when they're gone, okay? Go ahead. So here is my question. What does being a 21st century teacher really mean? And more importantly, what technology can I implement into our classroom to get my students ready for the 21st century? Go ahead. Basically, my objectives were just to develop 21st century skills and to, more importantly, empower my students so that when they get out into the real world, that they can do things with themselves. Okay, so this is what I have got with my grant. I'm sure many of you all may have seen these before. If you haven't, they're amazing little clickers. These are the old CPS clickers, and I called the company because I had these at my old school. And I called and I said, these aren't on your website anymore. And they said, because they're outdated. I said, well, I don't want your new ones. I want these that I'm familiar with and that are very teacher-friendly, as I would call them, because you can pop anything on a document camera. You don't have to be prepared for something to do this. Like, you can pull up any kind of question, and kids are just already ready to go and get engaged on these little clickers. So I got these off Amazon refurbished for $100. It was a whole class set. So if you want to look on Amazon, and they're in really good shape, you just turn them on, and you push engage, and you put any multiple choice question up there. They can click A, B, C, or D. My kids text their spelling words on there. We can get immediate feedback. Kids know immediately if you've learned your I can statement or not for the day. It's just real quick and easy. Sometimes we've even put these in centers, and they've had like a little K-Prep practice test, and they sit there and read it, they are accountable. They're not just sitting there trying to get through that center. Okay, I done that, Miss Elisha. I'm finished for the day. Well, no, you're not. I see that you got 65 on that, or you need to go back and redo that because you really rushed through that one. So those are my clickers. You can go ahead and go on through there. I don't know. Go one more. I don't know if any of my pictures made it on here. They may not. Okay, we'll just stay right there. This is an Echo Dot. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these. I'm sure you are. Alexis. However, this is an amazing little tool in your classroom because, as you know, especially in primary, every day it's, Miss Elisha, how do I spell? Or what does this mean? Or I don't know what this word does. And so we also did the student treasure books like they did. And this little tool allowed my IEP kids, they wanted to do a research paper. If you've never done a research paper with a third grader, let me tell you, I've got more gray hairs today than what I did when we started that book. But they got finished. And even my little IEP children who may or may not can research a topic, they can go to this little Echo Dot and say, I need to know this, or how can I look up this? And they were able to write their paper too with very limited access from me. It's almost like having an extra set of hands in the classroom while you're working with a different group of students. They can go ask and learn for themselves, and they are becoming more independent because of that. And the last thing I got, if you all can tell, this will follow you wherever you go, because of this little dot right here. This is your marker. And it also has a little microphone on the bottom so that you don't just have to rely on your camera phone when you're recording. Now, the whole idea behind this little swivel camera was because of the chronic absenteeism. I've not got to quite perfect this yet, but I'm going to work on that next year. But the idea is when I start an introductory lesson and we're doing I Can Determine the Main Idea for the Day, is we record our lesson for that day. And the good thing about the swivel cam and the app now is it like hyperlinks a web link to your video now. So I can send that out to any of my parents or kids who were absent for that day, or I can upload it on our closed YouTube channel. And when parents call and say, Miss Elisha, what did little Johnny miss for today? I'll say, okay, Mom, just get on YouTube and you can see exactly what he missed for the day, and you can see that lesson, and they can go through a 10 to 15-minute lesson and get caught up. So when Johnny comes back to school the next day, I'm not having to keep him in during some kind of time for him to catch up. And yeah, put yourself out there a little bit, because, you know, of course you're going to say, well, look, our Miss Alicia's up there doing this, this, and this. So that's kind of why I'm trying to figure out the best way to get that sent out to my parents and my kids. But that's for future reference. But I'm also really wanting to try to, and I was talking about this today because we heard somebody talking about a little newscast program. With me getting to do ELA and reading, I'd really love for my students to be able to be more engaged with this and like make a little newscast or a little news program, something that they can use this to do that with. Okay, go ahead. One of the top, this is just how much my kids have grown, just the top, oh, I'm sorry. You can keep it right there. I had a little video. Yeah, you can go on. That's okay. These were quotes from my kids, and it says, it's an extra teacher. This is their favorite thing. I mean, they like the clickers, but obviously to them that's still work, you know, because they're doing still work. But it's like an extra teacher. This thing helps me spell words. Better than a book, lets me know how I did. And one kid did talk about the clickers. You can go ahead. Oh, yeah, I don't know if this will do it or not. My video, listen, y'all, I've had more technology problems. If you just know me, I'm telling you. If this will play, I just want you to listen. I interviewed one of my students, and it may not. Just bear with me here a minute. But she just had the best little thing to say about this. I'm sorry. There she is. It might play. I don't know. It's been spinning on me all day. It's not going to now. But anyway, my kids were just really excited. And like I said, it's just given them more independence, and it's allowed them to take more personal ownership, because they can come back. And I hope to use this tool as kind of like a review activity too, and have some of my kids, especially your gifted kids, to come back, and that they can come and video their own lesson and teach another child. I just have really high hopes for all this stuff in here, and hopefully next year we'll come back with something even better, and we'll be able to use this better. Thank you. Questions, comments? Okay, thank you.